Viper, I have found a method to decide which one we're gonna do first. Compete for it in some way. Someone said, "You want to rock paper scissors it?" 3, 2, 1. Wait.
No, don't look.
We
did a spoiler.
I saw it.
No.
But it doesn't count. But the thing is, we didn't decide what happens. Like, if we win, do we get the chance to play the other's game first, or the chance to show our own game first?
That is a very good point.
Okay, the winner. No. The winner. We play their game. Okay.
Yeah, we represent our game. Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
3.
You can do. Okay.
Are you ready? Yeah.
You can do the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Another delay to see who won. No.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So we're starting with Warcraft. It's decided.
Yep. Let's boot it up.
And you will have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I I will. And I was thinking about how we should start.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should go straight into the ladder.
Love it. By the way, you know that I'm gonna use everything you do here against you as well.
Okay, I think you should start with a gentle game versus PC easy.
Too late.
So before you hit that find match button, maybe a little bit of explanation for how the game works.
Do you want? Okay, I'll just quickly share what I have understood.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know where to start from. So it's an RTS game.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay, go on.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, I know a little bit more. Okay, there's you have heroes, there's RTS, like there's still some economy management, but not that much. It's more micro-based, decision-making oriented. You have 4 different races. From what I understand, economy management is partly upkeep as well.
Yep.
As in, yeah.
How did you learn that?
I have watched a little bit of your stream as well in the past, and I have looked around on the menus and such, and that's what I figured made sense with the way the food system and gold system worked.
Oh, yeah.
And also it says upkeep there, so...
Yeah. Do you know how it works, upkeep?
Not exactly.
Okay, so anytime you're 50 population or below, you get 100% gold from all sources.
Okay.
And when you're at 51 to 80 supply, then you get only 70% income from all sources.
Why?
Why the mechanism was created is because Blizzard was trying to throttle the amount of units on screen because it was their first 3D game. They didn't want too much FPS drops, so they were trying to keep armies small artificially.
And that became a beloved game mechanic.
Not universally, apparently. I like it as a pro player, and I think it leads to a lot of interesting gameplay decision making, but it's not universally beloved. There are some negative feedback loops that you get, such as ding, and then it says low upkeep, so people feel like they did something wrong.
Okay. So what I get from that is that there might be strategic aspects to staying below 50 pop.
Yeah, like a pistol round in Counter-Strike.
Okay.
That
says nothing to me, but Counter-Strike.
Okay. Well, like, it's like staying in no upkeep in Warcraft 3.
Okay.
You save up money now, and then you push over 50, not with 1 unit, but with 6 units.
So it's essentially greed.
Yeah, staying on 50 upkeep.
Long term.
Yeah, it's long-term greed, and going quickly over is like timing attack, early aggression, forced action, forced skirmishing, or forced map control.
Okay.
Because you're falling behind in some way. But of course, every skirmish you have when you're 50 against someone 60, you're going to be less efficient in the trades of units and the damage you take and the healing resources you need to spend than maybe it wasn't efficient all along. So it's a judgment call.
Gotcha. Does that often vary depending on the race you play?
Yep. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And if you're the faster army that's also good at surgical strikes, at hit and runs, you may want to stay on 50 because you can manipulate your mobility.
Okay.
But upkeep management is also, you can also kind of ignore it, especially when you're newer. and you can play it more like an Age of Empires or a StarCraft type of game, because bigger armies still kick ass, and really the only way that you get punished is if you're completely not doing anything on the map. You're just standing still.
So upkeep sounds like a high skill mechanic as well in Warcraft.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah. Wait, I had one question on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I assume the workers count towards the upkeep.
Yep.
So in that case, there's probably an ideal worker count in certain scenarios.
Yep. What race are you going to play? Have you decided?
We discussed this in Berlin, actually. I don't remember what we agreed on. I think it was Night Elf or Human or...
Oh, you asked which one is easiest for beginners. Is it? Or, oh, no. You asked...
playstyle.
Yeah. You asked about playstyle, and you described how you play in AoE2 and what would be the most suitable. Like if you like macro expansion.
Yeah.
And I see that in Age of Empires 4, you like to be quite quick with using 5 villagers on this distant resource node and 5 villagers on that distant resource node. So who does that the most? Well, expanding is most common with human and elf. So yeah, between one of those, I suppose.
Okay. And the other two races, they would play more aggressive, more...
Orc is like Mongols in AoE 4.
Okay.
Hit and run and getting money from killing buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And then Night Elf... Oh, sorry, Undead. Undead is a little bit like the English.
Greedy passive.
Yeah, they have good base defense. Network of Castles is comparable. They have the strongest base defense. It's one of those isms, never go into the undead base.
Okay.
And then they have really good range damage via their heroes. They can quickly kill a unit and then go back off. And that reminds me of like longbows, killing one archer and then running away.
Right. And so the orcs are very active on the map all the time.
Yeah, and orcs have speed scroll, which is like Mongol Khan's signal arrow.
Okay.
So it'll be fun to try all, of course, eventually.
Yeah.
We're figuring out where to start. Yeah.
Someone in my chat says, "Go human, please. I wanted to enjoy this game, and Night Elf is least fun.
Sure.
Most homework.
We can do human.
Is it easier? Straightforward?
It might be a little easier, actually, yeah, now that I think of it. The whole Ancient of War creeping thing, it takes a lot of time to start, actually. I think Night Elf generally is quite easy, but the Ancient of War creeping thing can feel a little...
overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
Well, I learned so much last game, so it's a bit shame to switch race, but...
No, it's good. We're only just getting started. Let's do human. Let's start.
Okay, so I kick off?
Yep. Okay, so same thing. 4 peasants in gold, 1 on altar.
Oh. I opened GeForce Experience. That's not ideal.
Don't want to do that.
Is the altar the same hotkey for every race?
I don't know. I haven't used grid. So I use classic and there it is, yes.
Right.
Okay, now you take 1 peasant out of the gold. And you start a farm in between altar and town hall. Yep. And then next peasant can go to barracks. So you make it under your town center. Building layout looking really nice. Yep. And then the next peasant can go to gold. You're shift clicking onto wood, very good.
I mean, this one bill is full, right? So.
Yep.
Should I constantly make peasants right now?
Yeah, until you're reaching your optimal amount, keep making peasants. Always have like 2 in production, 2 to 3, right?
Okay.
So the villager that finishes farm can make another farm immediately.
Does it matter where?
Yeah, generally like in front of your town hall, kind of. Yep, and can make an archmage out of the altar. And when the barracks finishes, we'll make a footman. And you can take 4 peasants already and control group them to maybe control group 2. They will be not from gold, only the ones from wood. And then, yeah, you put them in control group 2. And you're... Yeah, sorry, the build got a bit messed up. I sent you to make a farm too late. So
all good.
It's all good. We'll make a footman. And then we make another farm.
This is such a farmer civ. I like it. I make farms in AoE2. This works.
You have to make a lot of farms, yeah, but they're just it's not like in AoE, right? Like it doesn't give you anything except the ability to fit more units in.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Should
now
I keep making footmen?
yeah, keep making footies. And now you take your peasants and you turn them into militia.
Oh. Do I drop off resources first?
It's automatic. And then you shift them into the battlefield, and then you take them all, go to the green camp above you. And then you make a water elemental with your...
Green camp below me, no?
It can be above you or below. So the funny thing is, when it's in vision, the camp, the dots from the map disappears. Because you have visual on them. Yeah, I don't know if it actually does make sense. Now that I think of it, it doesn't.
It makes sense that you said after you said it that it's like that because I didn't see the green dot.
Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't make sense.
It makes sense why you didn't see it, but yeah, it doesn't actually. So now you can actually go to tier 2 with your town hall. You can cancel that peasant by clicking on the picture. So these militia, they actually have a timed life. So generally, right when they turn into militia, you want to start the creeping process immediately. So
and they have to be turned into militia from the town hall?
Correct, from the town hall. So let's do that again, and then we're going to start creeping.
So it's X on those. Okay, so when I approach this creep now, do I want to aggro with my hero?
Yes, so the Archmage has 3 abilities. Every hero has 3 optional abilities that you pick from. So you see that plus sign in the bottom right? We pick that, and then we go with the water elemental.
Okay.
That's the 99 out of 100 times is your opening ability. And when you can summon it, you can have up to 3 at the same time for a short period. They have a timed life, they deal damage, they tank HP, and you send them in first to tank damage so that the rest remains healthy.
Okay. Oh, I forgot these guys
good.
now.
They'll probably turn back soon again, but we almost have enough footmen. Yeah. So you attack first with water elemental, then with the rest. Now there are a few tricky things. It's a whole different. Yeah, perfect. You're pulling back the footman. It's a whole different game in and of itself to manipulate creep AI. It's a bit of an acquired taste.
Question: do I want to always get the last hit with my hero?
No.
No? Okay.
So any creep that dies anywhere on the map gives XP to all heroes you own anywhere on the map.
Ah. Okay, this seems fairly straightforward.
And then you send your peasants back. You keep making footies. So there's always like an ideal footman count. It can be anywhere from 3 to 7. I would recommend just to go up to about 7, which you are doing right now. And then you just... so the idea usually is to remain active on the map. Either you're scouting, you're harassing, you're attacking or defending, or you're creeping. The one thing you typically never want to do is to stand still. And so
makes sense.
You can always just look at any point on the minimap and go to the next green circle. That's always fine. And as your army gets stronger, you can tackle more important creep camps.
Follow-up question. Do I always want to keep my whole army together?
Not necessarily. So you could have, say, what's actually quite common, which we're not bothering with yet, is that your very first footman goes into the map to the opponent's main base to check their hero, check their unit composition, the direction that they are creeping. That's what your first footman is doing. And then the second footman, which is synchronized with your Archmage, comes out and starts helping your Archmage creep.
Okay.
And then there's also, of course, footman run-bys, like footman harass, just like Zergling harass in StarCraft, which can be effective.
Okay, and is this something as well? Because these are they also worth attacking early on?
Every creep camp on the map is, of course, worth taking. And there's a lot of strategy in deciding which one you go for first. Whether you go for, let's say, big camps, or this is quote-unquote your camp because it's on your side of the map. But you could also have creep routes, as they call it, the order in which you do things, that first take your opponent's creeps out. A denial of sorts. And then later, when they are looking to take that camp, they think it's still there, but it's not. Right?
Right.
And then you fall back. And you fall back, you take your own before they know what happened, and now you've got 2 important creep camps. Each drop different level of items, so sometimes you have a certain goal. There's a certain type of item you're trying to find.
Okay. And I made too many footnotes.
Macros on point.
So regarding macro cycles now, should
Yeah.
I constantly keep going back and making more farms?
Yeah, you generally always want to have an over farm threshold of about 10 food, just so that you can keep making. 20 food over farm is like too much. Then you've spent too much money. Like what you do now is fine because of your bank, because it's a test game, but you don't normally make such a large threshold of over farm. You'll probably make like a farm every 30 to 45 seconds or so.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about heroes. You can have up to 3 heroes. You have 1 right now. Once you reach tier 2, you can make a second. Each one costs 5 food. The first one is free. The second one costs 525 resources, as you see.
Yeah. So I should make one. Should you always make another hero?
Not necessarily, but for human, almost always yes.
Okay.
There are, and we're getting pretty deep into advanced strategies. See, you've done something wrong. You've gone over 50 food.
Low upkeep.
Yeah, so either you don't make a hero, or you suicide a peasant, or you suicide a footman. So this is where upkeep can feel weird and off to new players, but proper build orders for more experienced players wouldn't get into this situation, right?
Okay. Yeah, coming from AoE, it feels unnatural to like stop making workers that early.
Right. And you see now that you have so much wood. I think the amount of, let's see, you have 5, 6... You have like 12 workers on wood because your macro is just too good.
Oh.
And macro only takes on the form of... Like the macro in Warcraft 3 after the initial build order is almost only about creep route. And I know creeping isn't exactly economy management, but it kind of feels the same. Build orders in StarCraft or Age of Empires 4, that's creep build orders, like creep routes in Warcraft 3. That's the equivalent of it. And the second macro is upkeep management.
Okay. Lumber mills, are they ever worth it?
Lumber mill is like a lumber drop-off point in Age of Empires. So
I would make one here, for example.
It expedites lumber drop-off. And yeah, this would be a good place for it. But you don't need it usually, except as a prerequisite of other buildings, for instance.
Okay.
So sometimes you will want it, but only if you're having a very trim amount of workers. So if you're doing 7, 8 workers on wood, then a lumber mill can be a great way to add lumber income without stressing your total food supply, which is very relevant in Warcraft 3 because of the upkeep thing.
So I just took some of the peasants and turned them into men-at-arms.
Yep.
And sent them to attack.
Yep. And you crept the camp without hero. You lost a couple of units, but you dropped to no upkeep. And you see that you get XP from that anyway. If you look at your paladin, for instance, who is not there, you'll see that he has some XP because it's globally shared.
Right. How frequent is it that you have like one hero on the bottom, one in the middle, like constantly like separated?
It's frequent for Night Elf and for Orc. It's less frequent for human and undead. So Night Elf and Orc do more like harass and splitting. And human and undead are more often centralized nucleus of an army.
Okay. So as a human player, I go for more of the
death ball.
Say death ball, but
yeah, it has negative connotations. When people talk about games sometimes. But yeah,
I go
you
for
would.
Powerful army.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and I keep picking up these bells and such.
Yeah, you pick up items. You don't know what they do yet, right? And that's a lot of miniature to get into. That doesn't matter as much right now. Can get into that more later. But what is important is that every time you level up, you see in your portrait in the top left, you see a number. That number represents the available of unpicked ability points so far.
Ah, right. I can upgrade the water elemental.
Yeah, every uneven number, you can upgrade an existing ability. So at 3, you can be a level 2 water elemental, and at level 5 hero, you can have level 3 water elemental, which is the max.
Okay.
The mana cost remains the same, but the utility goes up. So you could go for 1/1/1, Brilliance 1, Water Elemental 1, Brilliance 1, but now you have 3 level 1 abilities, and they still cost the mana that they'll ever cost. So it's far more common to upgrade a particular ability to level 2 when your hero is level 3.
Makes sense. It looks like they scale pretty well.
Yeah, they scale really well.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I've played games before where the skill becomes better, but the mana cost also goes up, which is different than how it is here.
Okay. So is it common to like, right now I have 1 extra skill point,
Yeah.
but do I want to potentially wait for the chance to upgrade Divine Shield to 2nd level?
I love that question a lot because there are reasons to delay, but it is not for the reason that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
After all, whether or not you keep this ability point free, at level 3 you gain another ability point availability, so you can go to level 2 Divine Shield regardless, even if you pick something else now.
All right. So it only costs 1 point to upgrade no matter what.
Yes.
Right. Okay,
And like in
makes
Diablo
sense.
2, you may want to save up 5 skill points so that when you reach the next threshold, you can choose 6 of the next threshold skill points. But that's not how it works here.
Okay. Is there any other buildings that will always be important to me?
Arcane Sanctum is really common. They offer the 2 spellcasters, the priests and the sorceress. Sorceress is a debuff on opponent, it slows them. And priests offer the heal ability, which is an autocast heal, just like monks and scholars in Age of Empires 4.
Okay.
And they have an attack as well, so just like the latest AoE4 patch, where you can now A-move healers, finally. I don't know if you saw that patch.
I did not.
Yeah, you can finally A-move healers in AoE4, but that's already possible in Warcraft 3.
Okay, I just want to check how fast the mana regrows.
Pretty good, right? And Brilliance is helping with that, the ability you picked on Water Elemental, on your Archmage, I mean. The 3rd ability is a passive that gives passive mana regen to everyone around.
Ah, right. Yeah, I should probably read what they do before I click them.
Dude,
Mass teleport, okay.
I took so many, like, recently when I learned Age of Empires 4, there's so many things I just click without reading what they do in order to skip and expedite other learning process.
Like, in some ways, you kind of have an idea of what they do, but you don't actually know the exact numbers or details.
Yeah.
Lazy RTS players.
So the most amount of buildings you'll make of one type generally is about 2. You'll almost, in one-on-one, you'll almost never make more than 2 barracks, more than 2 arcane sanctums, or more than 2 workshops, or more than 2 griffin aviaries. It does happen sometimes, but it's rare. And for sanctum, usually the number is 2 for arcane sanctum.
Okay. So is it normal that I mass produce units from the arcane sanctum, like mass produce monks, for example?
Priests, you mean?
Or the sorcerers or priests?
Yeah, so in Warcraft 3, because you're working with smaller army compositions, rather than trying to get as much of a good thing, instead you've got like certain target ideal amounts. So you go into a game not thinking, I gotta make as many footmen as I can and try to overwhelm my opponent. The idea is more, I want to make exactly 5 footmen, and I want to then make exactly 2 priests, exactly 2 sorceresses, and exactly 3 breakers.
So it's a lot about optimal numbers rather than just like spamming.
Yeah, and the reason is because you want to have an ideal unit composition within a 50 food army.
Right.
And when you're ready to go over 50 food, you need to know why you're doing that. Are you doing it to defend yourself from death? Are you doing it to go and kill your opponent? Or are you doing it for map control supremacy? I want to go straight to 60. I'm sacrificing the income I'm getting, but 60 food is a good amount to beat 50 food opponents. And that means that when I am contesting this center creep camp, I will be the stronger.
Right.
Or you can attack someone with 60 food and say, lights out, like I'm going for a kill move. And it's better to go for a 60 food kill move than a 50, because typically your opponent will be at 50, which means you're no stronger than them. So why are you attacking?
Makes sense. All right. Seems like a lot of decision making goes into this.
And not all of it is immediately relevant. Like even how you've played so far against computer easy, you can probably attack now and win. And maybe we should try that, because you've made a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I just noticed that multi-queuing this, if I click 1, it will produce 1 in both.
Yes.
That's gonna take some time to get used to.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
In Age of Empires, you have to click twice to build 2 units, even though you have multiple buildings selected.
I'm going to revise my you can attack now and win estimate.
Yeah? He had enough units.
Mostly very low tier units, right? Because
So do I.
he has heavy air. Let's still try to win this game though. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Let's build a blacksmith. Cancel all footies in the barracks. All right.
Is there a go-to building hotkey, or is it all control groups or clicking?
Control group only.
Okay.
You are in a fight presently, even though you may not know it.
I want to fight this?
I think you can win here because he didn't bring his griffins.
What an idiot!
Yeah. So you blizzard. Maybe you put some footies on those mortar teams in the back. Yep.
So the range units might have more AoE. Let's heal something.
No, we can't win this. We have to go back.
So in a retreating situation, do I want to always pull everything, or do I just leave some units to like buy time?
Yeah, every single unit matters in Warcraft 3. They give experience to your opponent. For instance, your opponent is now level 5 hero. 6. Oh my god, he's level 6.
No.
He's
Can I kill? Is it then a strategy to kill your own unit before it dies?
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a lot of information here. We weren't really playing the game normally. What could also be cool is that I show one game as human against AI, and
I think that makes sense.
you take a watch.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it, taking up this much information so well.
It is difficult, but I mean, like, it's still just like it is general RTS concepts in many ways. It's some specific things in terms of this game, yes, but a lot of what you're saying is also just like it makes sense.
But there's so much like so much specific stuff particular to Warcraft 3 that may feel a bit alien. Like the upkeep thing, the don't make units all the time thing.
That's definitely new to me, coming from a very like macro-oriented game. Yeah, so I will leave this game.
Yep.
And you boot up there and you play.
I'll play a game.
Watch, and you don't go too fast.
Don't go too fast, for sure. Okay, let's check it out.
Someone is telling me the best way for me to learn would be to play campaign.
Yeah, well, that has been our go-to to teach people the game for a long time. But the problem with that is that takes like dozens of hours, and it still doesn't really teach you. Yeah, it still doesn't really teach you, well, the game, the multiplayer game.
Exactly, because we're looking to learn how to play competitively as RTS.
Yes.
Competitors.
And it's just slower, really.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do this. So you go 4 on gold immediately. Remember to build 1 altar of heroes.
Okay, thanks.
By the way.
What I found interesting is that you build your altar exactly where I build it. So I don't know if that's instinct or some studying.
It's just because I'm aware that you're supposed to wall off your base.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
It's very good. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure to know the spacing. This barracks position has its corner against the trees, which means it's a wall off. And barracks against farm and against town center is a wall off as well. And I start that farm for like 1 second for 2 reasons. One is because if you start the farm with the new peasant that comes out, it's 2 seconds too late to connect with your altar timing. And the second reason is that you want to know the spacing for a full wall off.
Okay. And you want to be fully walled without the ability to walk in and out of your base, or?
Yeah, the meta for that is actually changing a bit. You can see like even now my farm is 1 second too late. This actually, the meta about this has changed a lot, whether you want to be full walled off or not. It depends what race you're against. I personally prefer to keep it open. And people have started to keep it open more often, but it used to be the only way to keep a Orcish Blade Master out, which has all the annoyingness of the old balanced Mongol Khan, but could turn invisible and go into your base and kill workers.
Okay. Just quick, what is your main race in Warcraft?
Orc.
It is Orc, okay.
Do you have a main race in H?
There's too many civilizations to have a main.
Yeah. Orc is my main race, and I was completely foreign to the idea that you would play more than one competitively in an RTS until I played AoE4.
Yeah. I personally find that though to be more enjoyable, that you're exploring more cities. But then again, races are way more similar in AoE compared to like StarCraft or Warcraft.
Yeah. I think it solves a lot of problems. It solves balance problems, but also burnout.
Yeah.
Just because of that variety.
I think AoE4 tournaments would also be way less entertaining if everyone had a main civ.
Yeah, that's true. Although at first I didn't like it as a Blizz RTS player.
So far, it looks like we did exactly the same thing.
Pretty much. I mean, the same order, right?
Yeah.
You'll note that I have 8 workers right now on wood. And I had a worker stop for a little bit because my farm wasn't done, and this is normal. The 9th worker doesn't need to come out that fast. I aim for 9 workers with human. Sometimes there's strategies with 8, sometimes there's even more. And then at 27 under 30, I go to tier 2.
Okay, is there a way to track the villager count on a resource?
Just like this.
Counting? Okay.
This 5 out of 5 is actually an add-on thing.
Okay.
That is kind of nice that they added, like the users added it. Okay, so here's a creep. There's a lot of creep rules about AI. They never attack things that are ensnared if they can help it. And
ensnared being
when they throw a net over it, these jerks.
Okay.
And why do they ensnare things? Well, that's just one of the ways that creeps are coded, and yeah, how the game was designed. Sometimes creeps are just a raw damage and health output, and sometimes they have special abilities like poison, ensnare, slow, stuns, roots. So you'll see that certain units have ensnare. These 2 guys have ensnare, and they typically like to prioritize ensnaring things that move. Once something is ensnared, they don't attack it. So if you summon a water elemental and they ensnare it, like so, then the water elemental will not be used to tank. So then...
How much is
go ahead.
the cooldown on the ensnaring?
Maybe 12 seconds.
For them to throw the ability?
Maybe 12 seconds.
Okay. Something in that range.
Yeah.
Can I ask what you built there, the tower?
Yeah, this is a scout tower. It can be upgraded to either an arcane tower or a guard tower. You can only make a guard tower if you already have a lumber mill, but the arcane can be made without prerequisites.
Okay, and what's the purpose of the scout tower?
The scout tower just does what it says, scouting. It offers a pretty large vision, especially in the daytime.
Okay.
There's day and night cycles. Right now we're in night. You see these 3 circles here? That's the progress of night. Once all the circles are colored in, each one takes 20 seconds, and you reach the top, then it's daytime again.
Okay.
And Scout Tower only gives vision, and for the rest it is a placeholder for future Arcane Tower and Guard Tower upgrades. So it's essentially like a tower without villager access in AoE4. So you see that we went here, then this, and then this. There were many other routes we could have taken. We could have gone from this, into this, like you did. Or we could do this and then go straight towards him. These are all options, but you will notice that I always went to the next point rather than doubling back and then going here and then doubling back and then going here and then doubling back. So you want to have like efficient walk routes.
Makes sense.
Now, in Age of Empires 4 and maybe in 2 as well, you can put multiple workers on a building.
Yep.
Look at my money when I'm not gathering any resources. So it's costing, what, a gold per 3 seconds to have a villager doing that, power building. In Age of Empires 4 it's free, but here it costs money.
Okay, so it's... Okay, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, it was weird for me that it doesn't cost money in AoE4. The first thing I thought when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is broken. But then there is the opportunity cost of not gathering resources.
Yeah. Is it, does it build 2x the time?
No.
It's fast?
No.
Okay, I see you're microing, you're moving around to try and target his hero.
Yeah. Like you see that he has the bigger army, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when the opponent has a bigger army, you try to take out key units rather than trying to win the battle in general. This will force him to town portal or he dies. So now his hero is dead. Now any unit traits that we have is very favored for me because I'm gaining experience and he does not.
Right. How long would it take for him to recreate his hero? Is it the same production time?
Surprisingly long. The first hero takes 55 seconds, I believe. Or 65. One of those. Whereas remaking it can take anywhere up to 3 minutes depending on the level that they are.
So the higher the level, the longer to create again.
Yep, and the more they cost to remake as well.
Right.
This weird AI is currently not retraining it. You can tell by the lighted braziers. And there's no lighted brazier, so for some reason he's not doing that.
Okay, did you do any upgrades whatsoever on any of your units?
Not yet. Upgrades can be made in the blacksmith. These upgrade riflemen and footmen, which are accessible in tier 1 and tier 2. They also upgrade knights and air units and workshop units. There's one air unit available in tier 2. The other unlocks at tier 3. The tier 2 unlock is the Dragonhawk Rider. This is an anti-air specialist.
Okay.
So you wouldn't go for it unless the opponent has air.
Okay.
And then the Griffin Rider is an all-purpose ultimate late game unit.
Okay.
But it's only accessible once you upgrade to castle. Upgrades from the blacksmith are good, but they are not good for footmen. So footmen, they are kind of like a throwaway unit. They are a means to an end. You make footmen in order to get bonus experience for your starting hero. They can get the defend upgrade that gives them a 30% chance to reflect piercing attacks and take reduced damage for those attacks that do not get reflected. So what reflected means is actually the arrow fires back at the original archer.
Right.
And so the footmen are good to the degree that they defend against piercing attacks, which is riflemen, archers, crypt fiends, and headhunters. Basically, all the basic ranged units have a piercing attack. So that's where footmen can shine, turning on the defend upgrade. You can see the stance in their shield.
Right. And when they have the defend, do they move slower? Do they not move at all?
Yep, they move slower.
Okay. So in this, I see you went for the first warrior building where you can build archers and footmen or whatever. And then you went for double of the priest building.
Yeah, Sanctum is quite common to make two of. Just because there's two kinds of casters you can make, and there's an upgrade to make for those units. And it'd be really slow to make a priest, then a second priest, then get the training upgrade, and then you simply have more money to burn than what could be supported by the barrack, by just one sanctum.
Okay.
And then the question is, are we making riflemen at all, yes or no? I would recommend to mix in riflemen and casters as a basic army. That's one of the most classical army compositions in Warcraft 3, to go rifles and priests and sorceresses. So then you have 3 unit production buildings, which is a good amount for a multitude of reasons. First of all, your macro may or may not be perfect. Yours is unusually good, but many people, they will accidentally have 1300 gold. And then if you have only 1 or 2 unit production buildings, you'll never get to spend it. It's good for another reason as well. We have just reached 50 food, as you see, by making 1 rifle and 1 spellbreaker. We make extra farm capacity. In fact, we make as many long-term investments as we can when we're at 50, because now it's still rich times, because we're still getting 100% income, which you can see when you hover over no upkeep. So at this time, we would be buying healing potions if we want to, mana potions if we want to, from this arcane vault. We might be buying healing scrolls from the neutral shop, which is in the middle bottom of Echo Isles. Everything to beef up our eventual strength. And then we could even get rifleman attack upgrade, we could get rifleman armor upgrade. And once we're done with all these upgrades and we've decided we are hitting a certain timing, it's time to go and try and kill him, then we can go over 50 food with 3 units at the same time. Which is better than 2 at the same time. So the more structures we build, and they only cost, how much does it cost? So a sanctum costs 150 gold.
Mm-hmm.
That takes 15 seconds to gather because you get 10 gold per second.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can delay going over upkeep for 15 seconds, then you can make a sanctum with that money. And then when you go over it, you're delaying the point where you're losing 30% of your income. And so sometimes it makes sense to make more unit production buildings, 2 or 3 sanctum, and then to push over with a larger bank rather than going over straight away. But the lowest amount of money you would typically go over 50 food with is somewhere between 400 to 600 gold. 400 gold would give you 2 units and a 56 population. And if you go with 600 gold, then you could go over with 3 units and you'll have 59 population, which is the first breaking point that usually signifies that you want to do a big timing attack.
If you end up in a situation where, like I was in, where I was floating a lot of gold, do you want to still stop at a population, or do you just want to go then match the spot?
Once you're over 50 already and you've decided nothing is worth sacrificing or suiciding, then you just keep going. Then you go into the usual macro mode.
The riflemen, they were special against air, right?
So rifles are actually a bread and butter unit, kind of an all-purpose unit. I would say human only has 2 all-purpose units, which is the rifleman and it is the Griffin Rider. So you can pretty much always make those.
Okay. This makes sense the way you did it here, like just the opening and everything. Just be a bit more active. And what I would think I would struggle with the most is just to, it's not struggle. It's rather get used to the whole point of like 9 9 workers on wood, 5 on gold, and that's it.
And then staffing.
Yeah, that's hard for a guy that is used to making 130 villagers in a game.
Yeah, I see what you mean. When I first learned non-stop worker production, when I first started StarCraft 2, I would routinely go to like 120, 130 workers. When in StarCraft 2, you only want to go to like 80 or 90. So it's really hard to stop hitting that button. I still can't do that.
90?
Yeah, 80, 90 is like the max you want to go for typically. In StarCraft 2?
StarCraft, don't you want to go like max to like 66? 3 bases?
I think that was like older knowledge. That was like old Protoss knowledge. Zerg makes like 100. Protoss typically not more than 74, I would say.
Cool. StarCraft is irrelevant right now, but yeah. Okay, so he was hiding a building. Cheeky guy.
Yeah. He expanded on my natural expansion, Super BM.
All right. Cool. I think I would like to do what you did.
Yep.
Kind of.
Then I will watch.
Let me boot up the game again.
Will they play 2-on-2 as well? Yeah, we can play some 2-on-2.
For sure.
Okay.
We also want to mix in some AoE2 today as well, so I think we could even start 2v2s quite soon.
Yeah, we can we could do that. Even on BNet. I don't know how the reception is going to be on W3 Champions, just because. No, I think it'll be fine. We'll play on W3 Champions. It'll be better because then we have the Zoom.
Okay, I'll do one. Let me try once against AI again, just to like try and get the flow, and you can make some suggestions here and there.
Yep.
And then we can try 2v2s. If you have viewers that play the game, that would be decent opponents for me. That would also be a cool thing.
Is there anyone here with 1200 MMR?
Hey.
Just as a starting point. I don't actually. I think you might be higher than that, actually.
Let's see.
Gimli Dwarf Banger, says me.
Fantastic name.
Another fellow Lotter enthusiast.
That's the thing. Right now, okay, so just to build up on the last, what I've learned now so far to say, how many different openings would there be for human compared to the one you have done now? Like, what you have done seems like a common opening.
Yeah.
How many different ways to open would there potentially be?
I'd say like 12 probably, maybe 10 to 12. They differ in miniature, so just to give you like a rundown, you don't need to remember this. You can tech to tier 2 with 2 footmen, with 3, with 4, or with 5. And this is relevant for tech speed, for how quickly your second hero comes out, what kind of plans you have with your Archmage. So if you want to level up your Archmage to level 3 before you reach tier 2 and maybe apply pressure with Archmage level 3, then you would be making more footmen before you tech. But if you want to keep if you're even perfectly fine with having a level 1 Archmage and really just using it to waste your opponent's time while speeding out and making your game plan a lot more centric around tier 2 and your second hero, then you would only make 2 footies and tech to tier 2 already.
Okay.
Then there's like whether or not you make an arcane tower before you tech up to tier 2. And then there is, do you want to fast expand? You can actually take another gold mine before you go to tier 2. And then there's variations with that as well.
Okay, so is the main idea of getting to tier 2 is to get the second hero?
Yeah, that's the major reason you want to be doing it. So you asked earlier on, are there one hero strategies? Yes, there are. But it's about, it depends which hero you're looking at. So the Archmage is a great support hero because he can give more mana to everybody.
Okay.
You see, he has the water elemental that helps with creeping, and then he has brilliance that gives mana to all your arcane sanctum units and your second hero.
It's a great starting choice then.
Great starter, and much easier than all the other starters, and much more common and meta as well.
Okay.
But then if you take another race, you look at, for example, Night Elf, and they're playing the Warden. That one is great for playing by herself because Warden is a purely damage-based hero. She has all these spells that deal damage and give mobility. So you want to have those high levels so that you reach really lethal numbers with those. You could make a second hero that also has damage spells, but you could also just keep one hero and do the damage via her. And there's lots of reasons why you might want one or multiple.
That's for another day.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Any specific map I should choose?
I think we just keep playing on Echo Isles for now.
Was that version 10? Yeah. All right.
So now your goal will be to make 4 footmen to tech up to tier 2. Keep creeping, never stand still. And add a blacksmith as you're going to tier 2 so that you can start rifleman production.
Okay, oops, that's a misclick. You took another one and went straight for the barrack.
No, the new peasant that came out was my barracks peasant actually.
Oh, okay, okay.
But this is fine. So now you want to cancel some peasants because you've tied up your resources and then make a barracks. Yeah, one up, one up. That's fine.
One up?
Yeah, you want. It's not touching the farm. There's a gap. But don't cancel it because you don't get all your money back like in Age of Empires 4. Next peasant goes to farm. So take
That's also an AoE2, by the way.
Take that guy off wood and make farm, or it'll be too late. Like,
oh, right.
Yeah.
Forgot.
That's AoE2 as well. Free cancels.
No free cancel. It's more expensive to cancel.
Which
depending on how much you have built it.
Really?
Less. Yeah.
Huh. It's a blanket 25% loss here. Take 1 out of gold and make second farm.
Yeah, in AoE2, it's going to the longer you have built the building.
Put that one in gold. You never want to be on 4 in gold for longer than is necessary. Make hero immediately. And idle peasant.
F8. And I will take 4 of them. When my hero pops, I'll take 4 of them, turn them into soldiers.
Technically 4 seconds before your hero pops so that they're ready to go.
That's too advanced for me.
You can immediately start another farm now. And drop off the 10 gold he's carrying into the town center and then back to the farm. Yeah.
Oh, he went automatically to the wood after I dropped off the gold.
No, he would have gone to gold. He
Okay.
was just walking around the town hall. Okay. Check your Archmage progress. It's about 15 seconds left. You've got your 4 peasants control groups.
Yes.
Okay. So what you're going to do when you start the camp is you're going to choose water elemental ability as quickly as possible. You're going to send it in first.
Okay, I went a little bit too fast here.
It's fine. Summon elemental.
Yes. Oh, it's that hotkey would be.
Yeah. Send the elemental in first. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Make footy. Yep. Pick up the item ASAP. It could be a damage item, and then you'll creep the rest quicker if you have it already in your possession.
Right. Should I, at this point, should I be adding farms behind this?
No new peasants, no farms. Send your militia back to work. This one, you could let it finish. But you don't need to, actually. You have enough. You have 9 villagers. That's good enough. And cancel the second footy. And now we save resources for teching up.
We're almost there.
Mental.
That was a mistake.
So it always summons in the direction you're looking. So you'll generally look at the camp and then summon it into them. Nice, you teched with a hotkey. Great.
Of course. You want me to build a blacksmith on the way up?
Yeah, it's 160, so...
Are they idle?
Yep.
They look idle.
Yeah. There's an icon that appears on the left over your minimap. Okay, pick Brilliance ASAP, because it starts your bonus mana regen.
This one, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go down... Oops. I have a habit of clicking space, because that's my center on unit hotkey.
Ah, we don't have that. I miss that so much in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
You can start your expansion, gold camp. Like the
expansion.
Don't make more footies. Cancel the footy. We stop at 4. You can make more farms if you like. You can make a tower if you like. An arcane vault. But no more footies.
Arcane vault?
Yep. The bottom right one. The floating thing. Build it in front. Yep. And let's start the camp. So now it's important that your water elemental is standing still when it attacks.
What's the hotkey for standing still?
This is fine. It's tanking.
Okay,
so
good.
kill the ogre mage and yeah, this is fine.
I keep clicking my hotkey that will be to produce villagers by accident.
Such a habit, right?
Yeah.
So there's a weird... this is probably too advanced, but there's a weird micro thing where if you select all your footies and you give an attack command on your own archmage and then cancel it. Yeah, do it for 2 seconds long. Attack command. You're doing a move command.
I'm clicking. Oh! It's the grid mod. I keep patrolling.
Ah.
It's R.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you can make adjustments there. By the way, you can start rifle production. You can make 1. If you do an attack command on your own archmage, the troll, all the creeps will cease attacking your footies. They will also attack your archmage.
Why?
Creep logic. They're bandwagoners. They're bullies.
Right.
It's a good question, but it is what it is. You want to kill the trolls first. They do a lot of damage.
The trolls would be the ones in the back.
Yeah. So now you can start your second hero, Mountain King. And you need more farm. But if you do get supply block like you are, you can start your rifleman upgrade in the barracks first.
Should be this one.
And you can also make a sanctum when you get to tier 2, which would be now.
Sanctum.
Can make in front.
On the front. Because why not?
Those were in each other, so only one will finish. Yep. Okay. All right. Very good.
Don't have many units left, so I think I will wait now for more, or group up with units.
You have water elemental level 2. That's going to help a lot. And your Mountain King is going to come out. He's going to help a lot with creeping as well. You can go to the middle top camp, the orange, at the doodad.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was heading.
5 idle villagers.
Okay, I gotta get used to shift queuing them.
One item that's really nice to buy with human at the shop. You're standing next to your shop still with MK. You can bring him back. Is the regeneration scroll, the green scroll thing.
This
yeah,
one.
that is a 2 is fine. There's 2 charges.
Okay. I thought he had a countdown, cooldown.
Oh yeah,
it was like instant.
Why low FPS? He's streaming this on Discord to me. If you want to see his POV, you should go to his Facebook, !TheViper.
Did I want my guy to be snared? I did not, right?
Yeah. Now he's not drawing aggro, but you can take all your units and attack your water elemental for 1 second to retarget.
I accidentally got a hit there with my hero.
Yeah, that's fine. The water elementals will despawn anyway. Now let's make units. Rifles and priests.
Priest will be dead. Okay.
You're probably going to want to cancel one rifle so that you can... Actually, no, you have a full production. It's good. Yeah. Oh, you can rally those buildings on top of your hero. The sanctum and the barracks, so that they'll keep coming over.
Okay. Yeah, I keep clicking A, but it's grid mod, so R is attack move.
Yeah, that's weird, but you can. Yeah. We can fix that for next time, where you make the adjustment.
Do I want to attack already?
Yeah, you're level 3. He's level 2. You look at his army. He's got a bit more army, but you've got summonables, which you can start making. Keep in mind, you can have up to 3 water elementals at the same time. So sometimes you'll start making one as you go towards someone. So the AI always focuses your hero. You see your Mountain King is getting focused. You got to pull it back. The Mountain King.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how they micro. It's the hardest part about playing against AI.
Oh, that's why. It's a cooldown. I was trying to spawn another elemental. True, that makes sense.
So a large part of Warcraft 3 and any RTS, of course, is focus fire and damage types. So those rifles are good against the panthers.
Okay.
They're called huntresses, and
these guys.
Yeah, the fat walking unit, let's say.
Yeah.
And since
Mountain
King died, you want to remake the Mountain King in the altar. 170 gold for a level 1 hero.
Okay, so rivals will want to attack this guy.
Yeah. And then, like, if you're purely looking at damage types, rifles will want to attack the huntress that's standing, like, on top near you. And then your hero would want to be attacking his archers, which he has, like, 6 of. And you want to
shift Q attack move?
Yes, you can.
The upkeep counts as units I am producing as well, right?
Yes, correct. You have to pull back everything for a bit.
Yeah. I'll keep my water mana guy there. He probably doesn't matter.
It gives XP, so it does matter, but it's true that it would be the first go-to sacrificial unit if you want to sacrifice a unit.
Okay.
So you
Is there any way to monitor what I'm producing?
No, there's no global queue.
Okay.
You have to look at the buildings one by one.
Yeah.
And if you select both sanctums, you can't see what they are producing either. You have to click one by one.
Right.
So MK has spells. He has Stormbolt. You want to use this on his Demon Hunter, the one with the kind of the cool looking blade.
Okay.
The level 3. Yeah. You want to Stormbolt him often.
Okay. Yeah, I forget that I have
abilities.
I want to not have the upkeep.
Yeah. Until you're like 600 gold, then you can go over. So just kill everything here. And you can start getting some upgrades in the blacksmith as well. So here's how upgrades work. Attack upgrades are generally about 10% bonus damage. And armor upgrades are about 12% damage reduction.
Okay. I'm attacking, so I would go attack upgrades right now.
But not the sword, because you want to upgrade rifleman. Yeah, the gunpowder.
Is every unit costing 3 upkeep food, besides the heroes?
Anywhere between 1 to 7. And rifles are 3 and priests are 2. Heroes are 5.
Okay.
So look, you have new ability points to spend on Archmage and Mountain King. Brilliant. Yeah, you could do that too. And then Bash. Bash is a passive that stuns and damages.
Okay.
I think you probably win now if you bolt the demon every cooldown.
Is it a melee attack? Oh, it's a range attack.
Big range.
Okay.
So usually you have one group for rifles and heroes and water elementals and one group for priests. That will allow you to take your priests back as they're very squishy. And then you park them at the back. They have an attack as well. If your opponent has no damage done to you, then they will do like that little attack where they throw like the blue bird. It does a bit.
Okay.
But mostly they will just be autocast healing.
Can I cycle my heroes when I have them in the same control group?
Yes, tab.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, good question. You have a Wand of Illusions in your inventory in the Archmage. You can access this via numpad 5, which is all the way, on, of course, on the right side of the keyboard, but can be rebound if you like.
The issue is I don't have a
Numpad
numpad on my keyboard.
That is an issue.
That is a very big issue.
But you can left-click it as well. So if you take your Archmage, you left-click the Wand of Illusion, and then you press it on your Mountain King.
On my what?
Mountain King, the dwarf.
The dwarf. This guy?
Yeah.
Sternhammer?
Yeah, Stoner.
Oh, I got a second one.
Yeah, it's a copy. It doesn't deal any damage, but it can tank damage. And it can confuse the opponent. You see how you see it as blue, but your opponent will see it as real.
Right.
So it's some time, past time to go over 50. You don't want to take that no upkeep thing too far, while the mechanic is interesting and important.
I just feel I'm never losing units.
Not anymore.
Is it just because he's too weak?
Yeah, by now he's too weak. And you have Brilliance Aura, which gives mana to your priests. Had you not had Archmage, they would have run out of mana by now. The blue bar is their mana, right? And because he has relatively low damage output by now, your Mountain King is dropping low though.
On mana, yes.
On health too. He's like 20%. What? The Mountain King, not the Archmage, your second hero.
Oh, I thought this was him. That's a priest. Wait, didn't I have a heal ability? Oh, that's the other hero.
Yeah, you can drink the scroll now. So now if he gets attacked, it will cancel. This is a non-combat, and his Ancient of Wonders just attacked you, so it got cancelled.
Okay. Okay, so in a circumstance like this, where let's say it's still somewhat even fight, do I want to target any buildings before others?
Right, good question. So for Night Elf, their buildings hit you back, and that may make you want to kill them, as they are kind of like a military unit. But the Moonwells, they have double utility. They're food. So every Moonwell offers 10 food, so you see 5 Moonwells, and then there's 10 baselines. So he has a max capacity of 60 population. Pull your Mountain King back or it dies.
Oh, sorry, I was just looking at all the other things.
Run away, run away. Okay. You can hold position him. So let's say if someone has a big army and you don't want him to make any more, then you would start killing Moonwells. Now he can't make more units, and then if you keep making units, your army will be bigger.
Right.
But if he has no army like now, then killing Moonwells doesn't really matter. You would go straight for the jugular, like kill his main tree so that he can't get income anymore.
Right. That makes sense.
And you have new ability point picks, like you can get level 2 Stormbolt, you can get level 3 Water Elemental.
This is gonna, there's a lot of small things to keep track of, like that are like super helpful, just hard to always notice.
Yeah, like day one of learning is really tough, but I mean, you've beaten computer normal. Did you intentionally pick computer normal? Because we chose computer easy for you, the first game.
Oh, I thought this was easy.
For you it is.
Well, I just copied what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to also figure out how I want to have my hotkey set up. Because I usually have like 3 and 4 as military buildings, but I feel like in this game I'm going to need those control groups for units.
Yeah.
Heroes.
I use 3 unit control groups, but actually I should use 4. And I do. So I use 1, 2, 3 for army, and then I use 6 for army, which is a little weird, but I'm too used to 4 being my unit production. So if you can keep 1 to 4 free for units, that'll be very impressive. And as humans, sometimes you kind of do need that. But 99% of the time, 3 unit control groups is enough for units, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So the way I do it right now is like heroes on 1, I have the basic unit on 2, and then I have like the priests on 3.
That's really good. I keep heroes and rifles in 1, but sometimes I do it just like how you do it as well. Yes, as orc, that's true. Yeah, I do that too. Heroes in 1, ranged units in 2, and then priests in 3. And that's exactly how I do it as well. Okay. And one more way to control your units is F1 and F2. That is your first hero and second hero respectively.
Ah, okay. So if I want to pull back my
Mountain King, because he was dying. You would
Twice.
press F2 and then pull back, so you don't need to do like a box click.
That helps a lot if I have them on both on the same control group.
But the trick is, it's always the hero you made first that's F1. So let's say if you're super used to Archmage first, but you now have a strategy where you go Archmage second, then you need to get used to that muscle memory as well.
But that's why it's good to be human, because we always go for this bad boy.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Rule number 1.
Okay.
You can get second attack upgrade on rifles. You can pull Militia and attack him with it. So Militia will take like 40 seconds to go across Echo Isles, and they last like 55. So there'll be a little bit of hitting your opponent with Militia on this map if you bring them all the way here.
Okay, okay. So would it be worth it to turn these to...
Yeah. Call to arms and then shift attack into your opponent's base.
Okay, follow-up question here. I can only go to the second tier.
And third. You're in castle already.
Wait, I went to third?
Yeah, you did by muscle memory. That's great.
Oh, really? Okay. I was wondering like why I didn't have an upgrade. Makes sense. Okay.
The Viper
Okay,
guys.
What is the... I have 2 options now.
Yeah.
I can choose one more hero from these 2, right?
Yes. Common
But
is
I can only make
Paladin.
one more.
Oh, you just won. Congrats.
Yeah, it happens.
Common is Paladin third because he has a direct burst heal, the Holy Light that you tried in your first game.
But you cannot go over 3 heroes.
Yeah, 3 is the max.
Okay.
And even if one dies, you can't replace it with another third hero. It has to be...
You're committed.
Yeah.
And do all races have access to 4 different heroes?
Yes, and the tavern. Do you see that house-looking icon in the middle of the map? Yeah.
This?
That's a tavern. And you can have 8 neutral heroes access.
Okay. What's the power level of neutral heroes?
Generally, well, first of all, they're different. None of them have auras. So every race has 1 or 2 aura heroes that, give an aura, with like movement speed, attack speed, healing speed, mana regen speed. But none of those have auras, probably to avoid the imbalance of some kind of 6 synergies. There are summoners there. There are single target damage specialists. There are area of effect damage specialists. And then there's the Fire Lord.
Okay.
So there's rush heroes, there's late game monsters, there's early game monsters. So you'll go to the tavern when you have like a specific purpose in mind. The cool thing about them, they don't have training time. So as you reach tier 2, you can immediately insta-hire with a unit standing next to the tavern. Boom, it's done. You can start creeping. Boom, you can start attacking. Whereas for an altar hero, you always need to wait.
Okay, but what's the cost? Oh, this is upgrade.
Yeah.
So there are different houses as well.
So you remember the cost for an altar hero? 425/100. And this one is 425/135. So it's very similar, just costs a little bit more wood.
And is this universal access?
Yep.
Or can this be on multiple spots in the game, or is it only one spot?
In 1v1 maps, there's always only one spot for the tavern.
Okay.
But in 4-on-4, there could be 2 or 4 or 6. Wait. There is a map or 2 in 1-on-1 where there's 2 locations with the tavern, yes.
Okay. So it's not very like normal.
Chat is burning me right now. There are maps with 2 taverns, yes.
Follow-up question. How often are these utilized?
For human, it is very common to get second hero from the tavern. Very common.
Second hero even, like before your...
Yeah, not taking the Mountain King, essentially.
Okay.
This is very common for human. So you'll open with Archmage and then second hero. So human will go anything from Naga, which is your first picture, to Pandaren Brewmaster, to Firelord, Tinker, Goblin Alchemist in the bottom right, and sometimes Beastmaster. It's really only the Pit Lord and the Dark Ranger that are quite uncommon. Not entirely unheard of, but uncommon. So they often take anywhere from 6 of those. And then all 3 altar heroes are also relevant second heroes. So human has like a common option between 9 different heroes as a second. A lot of variety there.
Okay. Follow-up question. I upgrade this the normal way, right? I select the skill, blah, blah, blah.
You can right click that one, by the way. that ability.
What?
Then it becomes autocast.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And this hero dies. Do I have to go back to the tavern to remake it?
Can remake from altar.
I can remake it from here after.
Yeah, correct.
Sick.
But
Okay.
every hero, altar and tavern origination, can be remade from the tavern. Instant
could
revive. I don't know if you've ever played Dota.
Not really, no. I've just 1 or 2 games.
So you can do an instant revive, but this costs like, I don't know, 50 to 80% more, sometimes 100% more than what it would have costed in the altar. But it is instant, but they come out with half-life and 0 mana. Whereas if you revive a hero from the altar, it's full life and like 30% mana.
Okay. Why did all my options disappear now?
Your 3 heroes. That's it. You're
Makes
all
sense.
set. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Let's play a 2-on-2.
Let's do it.
Oh, 100 mana from the altar. Okay. Man, chat is so smart.
Quit mission. I would have to take a quick leave of absence to use the bathroom.
Bio break, and then we go tear up the 2-on-2 ladder.
Sounds great.